in the backyard.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's nice out.
There's
I've
April.
been inside at the computer all day. Hi, Joe.
Hi.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Hi, Diane.
Hi, how are you?
All right.
Oh, Joanne Sizemore.
Hi, Lynn.
I'm so happy to see you.
Celebrity.
Joanne.
Hi, Alicia.
Hi.
It's been exactly the same every time somebody new comes in. We all light up like Christmas trees and we see Joanne right in the middle.
Oh, we miss you.
Yes, we do.
So good to see you.
You too. You too. The world changed in the time since I left.
Yeah, it's certainly.
Joanne, you left Carmel and look what happened.
I know.
I was going to say, I do have words for you, Joe, about why you didn't share that crystal ball.
Yeah.
How did you know what was happening?
I can't tell you how many times in Florida I said, "What? Am I in a dream or something that the world is changing and I left?"
Oh my gosh. I wish we could have seen you in person.
I know.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
That would have been nice.
Yeah. Are you having any meetings people to people yet?
Diane's shaking her head yes.
Yeah, we're starting to at the office, which is
Office?
just like we are working there Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays now. And,
Okay.
you know, like we had some people meet in person for our leadership council meeting this week. So I think we're trying to get more
Start.
comfortable with moving
Yep.
forward.
I haven't. I'm still a hermit.
You're still a hermit.
Me too.
Me too. Yep. I actually found out, Joe, that I don't go back until 2021.
Really?
Yeah, they're keeping us
Wow.
home through the end of the year.
Wow.
Wow. That's what they told my daughter in Boston too, January 21. Wow. Alicia, are you back? What are they doing with the state?
I'm still working from home, and any trials that I have, we're doing it over Google Meets,
Okay.
which is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
weird.
Mm.
Oh, there's Crystal.
We have us up on YouTube already, so we're good with that.
Okay. The only person I think missing from the board is Nick. I know he was having some issues with getting logged in. I'm going to go ahead and call us to order and hope that he is able to log by the time we get through a few pieces. So welcome. Today is Thursday, June 4th. It is a virtual meeting for the Scarborough School Board. May I please have tonight's attendance?
Ms. Durgan.
Here.
Mrs. Giftos.
Here.
Dr. Gill. Ms. Casalonis.
Here.
Ms. Layton.
Here.
Mrs. Seither.
Here.
Mrs. Turner.
Here.
Ms. Caldwell. I see her. And Mr. Bennett.
Here. Good. And if you could join me. Oh, I suppose I should be sharing a screen, huh?
Okay.
This one. And I just want to make sure that you can see the flag. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So if you could
Yeah.
join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Couple of comments real quick. Two options to provide public comments during tonight's meeting. You can email us at publiccomment@scarboroughschools.org and we can read your statement into the public record, or please raise your hand in the Zoom meeting and we'll promote you as an attendee so you can speak. The raising of your hand is similar to lining up behind the podium in a public setting. You'll be placed in the order of your arrival to the queue. Due to recent issues with other district Zoom meetings and security, we ask that you use your legal name to be recognized for public comments. Please also state your full name and address, including town if you are not a Scarborough resident for the record. Each member interested in speaking is invited to comment one time for approximately 3 minutes. We will do our best to keep the time consistent amongst the participants. Please refrain from directing statements at or about individuals. And also please note the board will not be replying or responding to any comments made this evening. And with that, are there any adjustments to tonight's agenda? Sarah?
Yeah, Leanne, I have one. I'd like to recommend that the Finance Committee would like to recommend that we actually move the reading and the vote for the second reading to Thursday, June 18th. The sort of background and the context for this is that just due to the circumstances that are quite unusual at this time, whereas we'd usually be in a position to present to the board the Finance Committee recommendation, unfortunately we're not. After our meeting today, we're close, but there are a couple moving pieces that we want to get finalized before we're comfortable in presenting that to the full board for recommendation.
Thank you, Sarah.
Does there need to be a motion?
No, we don't need to make a motion to move that. I think it's
Okay.
a quick adjustment. So I have that noted. We'll have that for the 18th. Diane, can I ask a favor as you are the host? Can you promote Nick from the attendees into panelist mode?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. I would like to make one other adjustment to tonight's agenda, and that is to move the recognition of our retirees and our student recognition up above public comments. We have quite a few guests, and I would really like to take that opportunity to congratulate them and have a few things to say. And with that, with respect to recognitions, just a quick thing before we go in there. I'm in awe of the 253 years of service in front of us today. Thank you so much for your dedication to the district, for all the things that you have done. A couple people specifically have just been amazing to me personally, and I can't thank you enough for what you have done for me or my son. Thank you. I wish you the best. And with that, I will move into the folks who are truly recognizing you tonight. And I think Allison, you're first.
Great. Well, I'm very happy to kick off the evening and speak a bit about Anne LaLiberty. Anne has worked for the last 22 years as a licensed clinical social worker for the Wentworth School. She began her career working with students in 1980 as a preschool teacher, then a special education teacher in Westbrook, specializing in autism, significant developmental delays, and social emotional needs. In 1996, Anne found her true passion and received her master's in social work degree at Boston College. She joined the Scarborough Schools in 1998. Staff describe Anne as passionate, empathic, a mentor, supportive, very kind, compassionate, creative. She always colors a streak of hair to match her daily outfit. She's outspoken, big-hearted, dedicated, funny. She has the ability to coax a student out of the bathroom during a full-blown crisis. And lastly, she's a lifelong learner. As a fellow social worker, I've had the pleasure of working with Anne as a colleague over these last 22 years. I have fondly dubbed her the founding mother of Michelle Garcia Winner's social thinking curriculum for the Scarborough Schools. She sometimes admits she's a rock brain, but she's always creating superflex heroes for herself and students. Secondly, I will forever remember Anne giving me that special teacher moment when you know the person you've been trying to explain something to in 5 different ways clicks. I had that moment with Anne, and Anne, you might remember it was with you and Vicki in the old Wentworth School by the library, and it was, well, I still remember it after all these years. Lastly, anyone who enters the Wentworth School will be greeted by Anne singing, "Good morning to you, good morning to you." And she puts a smile on everyone's face. As one staff member said, she always has a song in her heart. Anne has many plans for retirement. First, she was going to fly to Utah, and then she was going to go to Alaska, but the pandemic hit. So now maybe it's a canoe trip with friends, maybe renting an RV to travel and visit family out west. But as Anne says, she'll always have a plan B. So Anne, cheers to you and living life. And I'm sending you a wonderful super flex hug right now.
Thank you, Anne. All right, Sue? Oh, let's see. Does Sue need to be promoted?
I just did that, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. She should be. She looks like she's in the panelist list now.
She's muted.
Wow.
Hello.
Hey, Sue, we can hear you now.
Okay. So I wanted to start by saying congratulations to everyone being honored tonight. I'm so happy for all of you, and I wish you the best in your retirement. And I'm seeing some familiar faces going way back to when I did children's theater, and I would come to your room with some of my high school students. So I'm having lots of happy memories. So I'm in a bit of a conundrum tonight because I'm under strict instructions by Deb Briner to not even utter her name at this board meeting. So I'm going to try to honor her by just quickly saying that Deb joined the faculty here over 26 years ago. We can say she grew up in the school system because she started at Pleasant Hill, moved to the middle school, and then moved to the high school, where she was a special ed teacher prior to a library ed tech. And since she's been, she's worked for about 4 different librarians, I think we can tell who really has been running the place for years in there. And I just want to say that Deb has just always lit up the room she's in here. She has always made such great connections with kids. She's just been a light. We will miss her so. And I just wish her the best in retirement. And I hope I didn't go on too long for her liking. So congratulations, Deb. We're wishing you the very best in your retirement.
Yeah, it helps if I unmute Kathy.
Yeah. So I'd like to honor Liz Hunt. She has had 19 years of service. She began teaching at Scarborough Middle School in the late 1980s. Much of her teaching career was spent in grade 6-8 multi-age program, which she played a key part in developing. She spent a few years as the director of the Scarborough Education Television before coming back to the middle school as a 7th grade science teacher. At SMS, she has also dedicated time to drama productions and talent shows and has coached Olympiads of the Mind, winning 2 state titles. During retirement, she plans to continue her travels and stay active with her other pastimes, including photography, painting, gardening, kayaking, biking, hiking, reading, and tending to her animals. And she has moved to Temple, Maine, which is by Farmington. So she's really starting some new adventures, and we will definitely miss her. And then the next retiree I would like to honor is Nate Wentworth. He had 7 years of service. He began teaching at Scarborough Middle School in 2013, and it was actually his second career. He ran a mutual fund in Boston for 16 years. At Scarborough Middle School, he has taught multi-age, science, social studies, and most recently 7th grade math. He helped with the 7th and 8th grade math team, where he volunteered his own time to attend weekly practices and meets. He coached students through challenging math problems and helped make the math team fun. In retirement, he plans to first and foremost spend time with his 4 grandchildren and also to enjoy reading, fishing, golf, hiking, snowshoeing, and puttering in his shop. So congratulations, and we wish him the best.
Great, thank you very much. Kelly Crosby.
Hi there. Congratulations to everyone. I have 2 special retirees to congratulate this evening. And the first that I'm going to start with is Mrs. Karen Kelly. Mrs. Kelly has taught for 25 years, all of them in the Scarborough Public Schools. She began her teaching career in the portable behind the old Wentworth School, Bestworth, as a 3rd grade teacher. And she taught 3rd grade for several years before becoming a 3-4 looping teacher and ultimately a team teaching grade 4 teacher. Mrs. Kelly shares that her proudest moments include the opportunity to volunteer to teach in Kenya during the summer of 2005 when she was assigned to teach in a rural village north of Nairobi. She's also proud of the intergenerational program that she and her classes for the past 5 years and the residents at Scarborough Terrace, an assisted living and memory care facility here in town, have worked on together. The relationships built between the residents and the students were very evident and so important for all involved. Colleagues share what an inspiration Mrs. Kelly has been in their careers as well. She is a scientist, dedicated, helpful, and has enough supplies in her classroom to share with anyone in need, even at the last possible moment. Ms. Kelly was known to host special and memorable student lunches in her classroom, was always willing to serve on a committee. Bless her heart, she served on about 100 science committees. Thank you, Karen. She's always arrived early and stayed late, mentored a volunteer into an ultimate teaching career where he ended up teaching on the same learning community as Ms. Kelly, and always shared her strength and guidance. She even kept her cool when she discovered a squirrel running around on the ceiling tiles inside her classroom in the old Benjamin Wentworth Intermediate School. Karen plans to draw on her many experiences to be present in each moment and very appreciative of her family and the life that she has built here in Maine. Being a lifelong learner, devoting time for community service work, raising a family, and helping to maintain our environment are the main focuses in Karen's life. We wish her an abundance of joy as a grandma, relaxation, and new adventures in her retirement. Miss Kelly, you will be dearly missed. And I have a second retiree to recognize this evening, and that is Ms. Lori Dean. So Ms. Lori Dean has been in the education field for 40 impressive years and has devoted 33 years of loyal service to the Scarborough Public Schools. She has been at Wentworth since 1986, teaching grade 3, 4, 5 multi-age, grades 3, 4 blended, grade 5 math, and grade 4. Her entire career has been at the intermediate phase, beginning as a 4th grade teacher in 1980, and now has come full circle and is completing her final year as a 4th grade teacher in 2020. Ms. Dean shares that her hope at the end of each school day is for both her students and for her to feel proud about some aspect of their day. She has a saying right at the door for students to see as they leave the classroom. It says, "Don't stop until you're proud." Ms. Dean reflects that she is very proud to have been a part of the multi-age program for 31 years. Working with colleagues then and now allows her to share in the energy of what happens in the classroom for our students. Colleagues say that being a teacher is just who Lori is as a person. She has the lesson plan in her head before she even looks at her files. She knows how to tweak it to fit each individual student in her class. She loves her students and her colleagues and will do whatever she can to help others. Her passion for education lines her classroom with any resource needed to help her students. She even received the district's first ever Educator Spotlight Award, nominated by a new colleague for being such an incredible mentor. Every student knows how much she loves them. And if they ever forget, after time, she reminds them with personal letters and phone calls as they begin their new phase in school. For any teacher in her last year teaching remotely during a global pandemic, it could be really easy to just coast and ride off into the sunset. But it's not in Lori's DNA. She's constantly coming up with new ideas and techniques all the time as if it's her first year teaching. She's the epitome of hard work, giving her all to the very, very end. Though Mrs. Dean may be retiring, she will forever be a teacher at heart. She's looking forward to spending more time with her children and her beloved grandchildren. In fact, being there for their first days of school is her motivation to move into this next phase of life. Mrs. Dean, you will be dearly missed. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just have to give a shout out also to Ms. Liberty, who has been an absolute joy to work with at Wentworth all these years, though Allison was beautiful in her statements to her. But I just wanted to say thank you, Ms. Liberty. We'll miss you lots. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, Kelly, you're on next. Oh,
Kelly just texted me that she got bumped out and is unable to get back in.
oh no.
Let's see if we can help her with that.
Thanks.
Yes, please.
Could you also promote Kristen? She had to leave, but she's back.
Mhm.
I will go grab Kristen.
So I don't see either one of them in the list.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's not in the thing.
And
Carrie
we're
Mullen Martin is
not
back.
at our 100 number, so we should be okay.
I'm here. You just can't see me.
Oh, Kelly, there you are.
I don't know what's going on. My camera's not working. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
We can.
Okay. So is Diana there? I'm going to start with Diana. All right, Diana Sterling has worked at Blue Point School for 20 years. She started out subbing, I believe. I didn't get to confirm that with her today. She is trained as a nurse, and she's worked as a building ed tech only at Blue Point School. So needless to say, we've relied on her nursing experience over the years. She worked at Brighton Medical as a nurse. She was also a school nurse before coming to Blue Point School. We celebrated her today at Blue Point, and she said that she never, ever regretted a day at Blue Point. She loved everyone at Blue Point and is really going to miss everyone there, and we feel the same way. She is the most reliable, consistent, practical person, and she would give the shirt off her back to anyone who needed it. She is known to tell the students to stop fussin'. It's one of her phrases, and she says it with humor and love. And every student knows that she cares about them. It's a theme that I'm hearing tonight. And she knows every student and family that's gone through Blue Point. She's got a steel trap of a memory. Her plans when she leaves and retires are to spend more time with her beautiful family. She's got 3 beautiful kids and a wonderful husband, and she's going to take care of her granddaughter Ainsley, and she has another grandson due in September. And she's also very proud of her camp on Sebago, and nothing makes her happier than the smell of a campfire. So she's going to enjoy that very much. And we're going to miss you, Diana. Thank you for all of your service and time in Scarborough and at Blue Point School. Cheers. And last but not least from Blue Point School is Lisa Vidina, formerly Douglas. She's been with us for 17 years, this last stint. Most recently teaching kindergarten. She started out subbing in her first round teaching as a multi-age teacher at 8 Corners, but has taught at Blue Point for 17 years. She's taught multi-age kindergarten and first grade. She's a quiet teacher, really reserved. No, not at all. I think everyone knows Lisa. She speaks her mind. She doesn't hold back. She has the energy of an Energizer bunny times 100 and a heart to match. She has a great sense of humor. She's known to fly down the hall with her cup of coffee and sometimes be heating up that cup of coffee with her whole class waiting outside of the teacher's room. And they wait patiently because she trains them well. I'm going to miss that. No one else does that. Lisa loves teaching. It is her passion. There are so many stories about Lisa that are hilarious. She's the first one to laugh at herself. She's always been willing to learn. And this whole distance learning hasn't stopped her. Even though she's been ready to retire, she has learned new things. She has applied new skills. She has put herself through all of the paces right till the end. And at the end of every meeting and the end of every discussion, she will say, what else can I do? How can I help? What can I do for you? And that's just who she is. So we're going to miss her very much, and everybody loves her dearly. Lisa plans to move to Florida with her husband, Carlos, and continue to spend time with her beautiful family. She has 2 daughters, twins, Jenna and Lauren, who went through Scarborough schools. So congratulations to Lisa. Thank you for your service to Scarborough and Blue Point School. We will miss you tremendously. Thank you. Sorry, you couldn't see me.
Diane?
Yes, Monique is going to speak about the next person.
This next person is Phil Kallick. He started his career with Scarborough Schools in 1994 as the information specialist and has had that position for 26 years. Phil's been responsible for overseeing our libraries, K through 12, their staff and their systems. He often started his day in one of the libraries helping students and staff. He led the transition to the Learning Commons model, ready for the 21st century. Phil has also managed all of the state reporting, making sure that every student was properly accounted for to ensure that Scarborough received every dollar possible from the state for school funding. And finally, he set up, administered and monitored licensing for just about every piece of software in the district, making sure that each worked effectively for students and staff. He is our ProTrax and eye observation king, to name only a few out of the many we now rely on. Phil's most memorable moment was to watch his first kindergarten library class graduate from the high school. His retirement plans include building furniture, fishing at his new camp, and most of all, spending lots and lots of time with his many grandchildren. We will miss Phil for his sense of humor, insightful perspective, his wit, and his dedication to Scarborough schools. Our best to you, Phil.
And now Diane.
Yes. So I have a couple of folks I want to talk about this evening, but before I do that, I also want to extend a sincere congratulations to all of the retirees tonight. I am sure that as you thought about the end of your career, this probably did not come to mind. And so what a challenging way and awkward for you to end your careers. And I really commend you for taking on this challenge that you have this spring. So the first person that I would like to speak about is Joan Tremberth. Joan Tremberth is our adult education director, and she has been a member of Scarborough Schools since February of 2008. She started out assisting students with GED testing and eventually became the supervisor of that testing and moved to be an academic and vocational coordinator, and finally became the director of adult education. And under her leadership, that program has grown astronomically. And when she became the director, it was mostly enrichment and high school credit recovery. And since that time, it has really evolved to a viable adult education program and is recognized by the state as such. She's added a very vibrant workforce training program, has done a lot of work in college transitions, and most notably, she has dedicated a lot of effort towards ESL classes in our community. Joan plans to rest and relax at her summer house, and then this fall, she hopes to travel to Barcelona and St. Lucia. And after that, she hopes to volunteer in adult education in some capacity. So we're definitely going to keep her phone number close by. Joan is not able to join us this evening, but she did want to share a message. And here's what she had to say. It has been an honor to serve my community in this role, and I hope that what I have brought to this school community continues and flourishes in the years to come. We wish Joan the best of luck in her retirement, and she will certainly be missed for her colorful personality.
Thank you. All right. And I get to round us out tonight and recognize one of our own board members on her final meeting. On behalf of the entire board, congratulations, Kristen, on your upcoming graduation and our best wishes as you venture out into the world. We've watched you become a strong leader on the board while also being a role model for our younger students, hearing about your involvement with the various phase levels as you participate in their day-to-day activities and have shared what you've learned with us and our community. For those who may not know, in addition to being a student rep on the board, Kristen is also co-president of both the Model United Nations and the Middle School Interact Club. The Interact Club prepares our middle school students on their transition to the high school by finding and coordinating in-school community service projects. She was a team manager of our varsity field hockey team and is a state qualifying varsity swimmer in her own right. Kristen is an inductee into the National Honor Society, representative to Dirigo Girl State, a volunteer at Planned Parenthood, impact ambassador for Rustic Pathways International, an organization which raises money for Fijian village schools, a member of the Citizens Climate Lobby, who works with our state's congressional delegation on climate control issues, as well as an intern at the Maine People's Alliance, all while maintaining honors and high honors in her classes. And if that isn't an accomplishment on its own, she's also working a part-time job. I have the greatest respect for Kristen's work ethic, her commitment to social change and justice, and her ability to inspire others with her quiet leadership style. She models behaviors she wants to see in the world. Kristen, thank you for your service to the Board of Education over the last 2 years, and I wish you every success at the University of Wisconsin-Madison in the fall as you study political science, and I am certain I will see your name associated with additional accolades and accomplishments in the future. Thank you, Kristen.
She's having a hard time connecting, so that's why she's not responding, but she appreciates it.
Wait, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, my laptop has been having so many troubles connecting, but thank you so much, Leanne. I have a little speech later that during our school, our student report, but thank you so much, and I appreciate all of you so much for this opportunity. And it's breaking that this is my last meeting. I can't even believe it, but thank you all so much.
Oh, I think we lost you. Okay. There is one other very special retiree tonight. Diane, thank you for taking this one, because I know that I would break into a lot of tears right now.
So I am really excited to talk about our last retiree, Joanne Sizemore. Joanne started her career in Scarborough as a math substitute teacher at what was then Scarborough Junior High School. Soon she was offered a teacher's contract in July of 1978 as a math teacher at what was then Wentworth Junior High, now known as Scarborough Middle School. She became the principal of Scarborough Middle School in 1990, and she was also honored as the state's Middle School Principal of the Year in 2006. In 2009, Joanne moved to central office to become the assistant superintendent, and she was even an interim superintendent for 1 year. In 2018, she received another honor, Assistant Superintendent of the Year for the state of Maine. And in November 2019, I was able to join her as she accepted a national honor from Junior Achievement USA for her long-standing commitment to junior achievement of Maine. Joanne has touched the lives of so many students and staff and will be greatly missed by countless people. Aside from her work in Scarborough Public Schools, she has also been very active in other organizations. She has been an adjunct professor with USM in the Educational Leadership Program, helping to develop future leaders for the state of Maine. And she has also been an active member with USM's Educational Leadership Advisory Committee. He has served as a member of Cumberland County's Superintendent Association.
I love some food. I love a plate of food.
Greater Tobago Alliance, the Scarborough Vision Committee, the Maine Principals Association, Educate Maine, and numerous other programs throughout her more than 40-year career. Joanne began her retirement in January. Apparently she had a crystal ball and could foresee all that was to come. And she officially became a snowbird this past winter. And despite the challenging world, I think she was able to enjoy her first few months of retirement quite well in Florida. And she plans to travel, enjoy Maine beaches, and relax in her future. From everyone at Scarborough Public Schools and the entire Scarborough school community, we wish only the best for you, Joanne, as you celebrate your years with Scarborough Schools and enjoy your well-deserved retirement. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
I just want to say a few words, and that is I do want to thank the Scarborough community and school and town for a wonderful career. When I look back at my career, I am very thankful for the career that I had with Scarborough. Having a head start on retirement in January to all the other retirees, it is wonderful to be able to do some things for yourself and, you know, enjoy all your hard work that you've done over the years. So I wish everyone well. I know that these are difficult times for people, but I wish you all the best of happiness and good health. And thank you again.
Thank you, Joe. And I think, Hillary, you have public comment with respect to our retirees. And you're on mute.
Yep, I just saw that. Yep, I have, there's one public comment that came in through our email. It's from Brittany Frisco, and it says, "Congratulations, Lori Dean. You have touched thousands of lives. I am lucky to have worked with you this year."
Thank you. All right. Yes, Lisa? I think you're on mute.
Yeah. I just wanted to congratulate Kristen Caldwell. I had Kristen as a kindergartner, and I could see her as a shining star right then and there. So this is a very special moment to have us both be moving on from Scarborough at this point. So all the thanks to that, and all the thanks to all parents and students and other staff. We could not have gone through what we just went through without each other. Everybody being so strong and so unified. So I thank everyone for that. So God bless, Godspeed, and all the best of health. Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
Go Kristen.
Thank you. You are all welcome to stay. If you are ready to kick off retirement, we completely understand, and you can enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. But otherwise, it might be a kind of riveting meeting if you wanted to stay around. We'll give you a moment. Okay. All right. Moving into public comments. We have folks that are lined up on the Zoom. We also have an email that we received earlier this afternoon that I'd like to read. It's from Amy Glidden, 104 Ash Swamp Road. "I am writing today to ask you all to vote to approve the professional staff contract. As you all know, this has been a long and arduous process for all involved. The tentatively agreed upon salary scale is a fair compensation for our staff. Yes, it will look like a huge raise to some members of our community, but they may not understand that it cannot be looked at in isolation. Scarborough has been underpaying our staff in this community for a very long time. This has created a dynamic of having to play catch up to districts that are comparable. Even with this contract, the district does not completely rectify this issue, but it is a start. Delaying the gains made this cycle only exacerbates the disparity down the road. This district needs to begin to close the pay gap. Members of the community who are often critical of teacher salaries will never understand this, nor will they ever accept a competitive salary scale for our employees. I am aware that both police and dispatch have delayed their COLAs from July to January, but that is not a good comparison to what is happening with the professional staff contract. The former groups are in the middle of a contract cycle and only delayed their agreed upon raises. This contract is expired and the teachers have been working under the 1819 scale for almost a year. Our staff has been working tirelessly in order to educate our students in an untenable remote learning environment. Many have been doing this while also trying to help their own children with their schooling. It has been exhausting. They have been resilient and professional. It is time to honor them with this ratification. I encourage you to push back against the town council and send a budget that allows for the salary increase, but also minimizes teacher cuts. I applaud the work you have done this far in finance. You have been transparent and held the leadership team accountable for their choices. I read the rationale for why that curriculum money needs to stay in the budget, but salary increases should be prioritized over curriculum materials. Curriculum upgrades can wait until next year. I bet many of the online items have textbook versions in that district that could be used. Teachers know how to deliver their content and can be creative with materials to ensure that their students make gains. That's what teachers do. Your sole responsibility as a board is to be stewards of education in Scarborough. The best way to do that is to ratify this contract and put pressure on the town council. Call their bluff, make them tell you no, but please let the school community see that you will push back against town council's attempts to solve their budget woes on the back of teachers and students. Thank you for your service and for listening. Thank you, Amy. Okay. Crystal, you are on. You might need to unmute yourself. Okay, now I think you're on.
Okay, thanks. My name is Crystal Ash Cuthbert. I live in Windham, Maine. I am the Scarborough Education Association president, and I am speaking to you tonight on behalf of our 350-ish membership. The educators of Scarborough remain optimistic that the school board will do the fair and right thing this evening by voting to ratify the faculty contract. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. Stephanie, I have unmuted you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Stephanie Leonhardt, 2 Riverwoods Drive. At the town council meeting last night, I heard multiple councilors praising the Scarborough Police Benevolent Association and Scarborough Public Safety Dispatchers Association for modifying their collective bargaining contracts in order to delay their cost of living raises for 6 months. I agree that this action is admirable, and I have the utmost respect for our first responders. However, what wasn't shared was that there were other concessions made during those negotiations that may not increase taxes, but will benefit those taking a 6-month pay freeze. This fact does not diminish the amazing work our police officers and safety dispatchers do, but I think it is important information as these 2 unions are being painted in a light as martyrs, while others are being painted by the council as greedy villains. Last night, there were calls for other bargaining units in Scarborough to reopen their contracts and make concessions as well. The teachers' union was referenced multiple times, both by name and by inference, as a group who should be making concessions. What is critical to know is that Scarborough teachers already started making concessions months ago. For those who are unaware, contract negotiations between the board and the Teachers Association have been going on for 18 months. The negotiations failed in mediation and went to fact-finding. The minority fact-finding report recommended a 19% pay increase over a 3-year period just to get Scarborough's teachers to the middle of the salary range compared to similar districts. The majority report from the fact-finding panel recommended 11.99% pay increase over 3 years for Scarborough's teachers. While Scarborough's teachers would love a 19% raise over 3 years, or even an 11.9% raise, they recognized, given the times, that that would not be rational. So in March, they accepted the board's best offer contract. The majority of Scarborough SEA faculty members, 97.5%, approved that contract. It is important to note, members of the faculty contract are not receiving any perks in exchange for their concessions to take a smaller pay increase, which will still leave them at the bottom of the salary range compared to comparable districts. The fact is, the teachers of Scarborough have been working without a contract for almost a year now, and continue to work harder than ever providing distance learning without a contract in place. It's time for the Town Council, the Board of Education, and the citizens of Scarborough to acknowledge that the teachers of Scarborough made concessions long before any other bargaining unit by working a year without a contract and by ratifying a contract with a salary scale that will continue to put them at the bottom compared to their cohorts. It's time for the board to ratify their best offer contract so we can move on to more important budget discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Lola, you are permitted to talk. You might need to bring yourself from mute.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi, this is Lola Sizemore of 13 Sheridan Street. I wanted to just make a comment. Congratulations to Joanne Sizemore on her retirement. My mom, 23 years ago, I told an audience at my middle school that my mom was my local hero, and during a hero ceremony. My mom broke her knee that night on some ice, but the sentiment is still the same many, many years later. I'm honored that my mom is still my hero and the hero to so many others. She's led by example and has been dedicated to the Scarborough community in more ways than most will ever know. Watching her over the years has been a masterclass in grace, patience, and leadership. So congratulations to my mom, Ms. Sizemore. Enjoy your retirement. That's all I want to say.
Thank you so much. All right, now I'm crying. Okay, Martha, I have permitted you to talk. I think you just need to bring yourself from mute. Martha? I think the mute's on your end. There you are.
Okay, all right, sorry. It's different than when we're using a mute button on a regular Zoom meeting. Anyway, my name is Martha Olive. I am a 25-year resident of Scarborough and live at 6 Sextant Lane. My husband and I raised one daughter who attended Scarborough schools through graduation. I have taught for 24 years, 17 of which have been in Scarborough. The last 13 years have been at Wentworth. I have 2 points regarding how a 0% tax increase will have a detrimental effect on our students. I speak from a very personal point of view as a Wentworth teacher working with readers needing an extra boost. When I began as a reading teacher 13 years ago, there were 4 teachers in our reading support program. Later, we dropped to 3. We have been told that at a 0% tax increase mandate, we will lose one of our 3 reading support teachers at Wentworth. There will only be 2 of us then who will still need to work with the same average number of students as we always have had, but instead of having 1 teacher per grade level, 2 of us will have to work with all of the students. With our enrollment increasing significantly in the future, the needs will increase as well. There is no way that 2 of us can give the same amount of time as 3 or 4 of us could and did give. Additionally, if there are no after-school programs, we will lose our reading team. This team has cost only $25 per each of our 2 coaches who work an hour a day, 3 days a week. We have used around 100 high school students as motivators. Many of them list their reading team time as a highlight of their volunteer time. Our students look up to these older kids as if they were royalty. Losing this after-school program and one of our 3 teachers, who with her ed tech status, despite her teacher certification and her near 20 years of teaching reading, seems to be more movable because she is an ed tech. I want you all to know, and all of our parents to know, that losing a teacher and our reading team will absolutely have a negative effect on student motivation and will surely cut into the time we can spend with each student. With the threat of distance learning returning in the 2021 year, and knowing how much work it was to reach out to try to get kids to A, sign in, and B, then read with us and stay motivated, having 1 fewer teacher to reach the same number of students or more as we did with 3 of us is not something that will excite their parents. I urge you to strike a compromise with the ultimate budget, allowing this teacher and after-school program to continue their invaluable contribution to Wentworth's readers needing that extra boost. To the readers, I am not excited about a tax increase as a Scarborough resident either. However, I was raised to believe that as a taxpayer, you should not have the attitude that these issues are not only important or are only important when your own children are in school. You have the responsibility to support all the future years of students beyond your own, just as they were supported when they were in school. Thank you for your time.
Martha. Maureen, you have been permitted to talk, and I think you just need to take yourself from mute on your end.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Awesome. My name is Maureen Ngati. I live in Biddeford, Maine, and I'm a special ed tech at Eight Corners. And I just wanted to say that we have an awesome staff in Scarborough, and the teachers are phenomenal, and they really need their contract that is just and right ratified. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Seeing no other public comments, Martha and Stephanie, may I ask a favor? Would you be willing to share what you shared with us with our town council? I think it is really important that council is hearing all sides, and the message that you shared was incredible, and I think it really needs to be heard by them as well. Thank you. And
Leanne, we have another public comment.
I just saw John come in. Oh. Okay. I needed to bring you in as a panelist, John. And I think you just need to take yourself from mute, and then you should be able to speak.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I apologize for the late raising of the hand. The comments were definitely swaying my thoughts through this meeting. This comment is difficult, as a taxpayer who is willing to make a modest increase in my tax, payment that affected my family to support the town and the school. I just wonder aloud if, as the school board has delayed the second reading of the budget, should we also, or should you also delay perhaps the approval of the staff contract so that the second reading and the staff contract and the entire budgetary load on the school district can be reviewed in its entirety? I realize that may be unpopular, and I obviously don't expect any comment. It was just a thought I had. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Just give it one more second to see if anyone else joins. Okay. All right. Okay. With that, I'm going to go ahead. Oh. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close public comments.
Leanne, there's another comment.
And move. Crystal, I'll allow this, although under policy, there's only one comment per person, but I have brought you in.
I appreciate that, Leanne. I was just unsure of who the previous speaker was. You just said his name and he didn't report his last name and his place of residence.
John, if you could state your name and address for the record, I apologize that that wasn't on. Thank you, Crystal.
I apologize. My name is John Humpage. I'm a resident of 8 Williamsburg Lane here in Scarborough, with one daughter who graduated from the high school and 2 children who are in the school system now. So thank you.
Thank you, John. All right. Thank you, Sarah, for catching that. All right, let me go back to sharing the screen. I think, maybe. And picture of Kristen. Superintendent's report. is up next at 7.0.
Great. Thank you very much. And I too congratulate our retirees and wish them well as they go into the next phase of their wonderful life. Thank you again. Okay, if we could go on to the next slide, that would be great. Class of 2020 has been a wonderful experience. Congratulations to this class. You see the pictures on the slide here. They just graduated, and we were fortunate enough to have every family and every student come up to the high school. And as you can see, the balloons and our principal there is on stage. And we had the good fortune of handing out the diplomas. Such a wonderful opportunity to experience that, to see how excited the families are and the graduates and the accomplishments that they have made thus far. On the next slide, again, we had the opportunity through these Scarborough Education Fund. They funded all these balloons, delivered them to the students. And as you can tell, those balloons are absolutely beautiful. And the students were very appreciative of having these delivered to their homes. And again, it's another opportunity to recognize the great work that they've done. Class of 2020, as you can see here, we've had the opportunity to have our students be recognized for the work that they have done and where they're hopefully the next step and where they're going. And Sam Nickerson mentioned about going into computer science major. And again, the beauty of the work here is the accomplishments of our students. And we're just so proud of each and every one of you. Next slide. Okay, and here, this is again, the opportunity, the administration on I believe it was a Saturday, spent the entire day delivering signs to our graduates. And as you can tell, our administrators probably were very tired by the end of the day. They went to each house of our graduates and surprised them with the wonderful signs. And I'm continuing to see these signs on cars and out and about throughout the community. And again, it's another way to recognize our seniors during these different times. Next slide. So 7th grade night out at the drive-in will be happening. And the 8th grade celebration, again, Friday, June 5th. More information you can read there yourselves. And the wonderful opportunity for the Saco Drive-In, which will take place on June 7th. And there will be a movie that begins at dusk. And again, middle school people should be congratulated for trying to find different ways to celebrate our students who are moving on. And Wentworth School had many year-end activities, their graduation and celebration. It was virtual. And on June 5th, we welcome our 3rd graders to Wentworth, and that will be a wonderful opportunity for the students to greet and meet people at the school. So again, more activities throughout the district. It's just a great opportunity here. Next slide. On June 4th, K through 2 events, year-end community virtual assemblies. and wonderful parades are being planned. Blue Point, Pleasant Hill, and Eight Corners. And I know much of this work and staff and the volunteers from the families, and we appreciate the time that you put into this.
Ready?
Yep. The last slide here, at your convenience, if you come across this slide, each section you can click on and people will say goodbye to the students. Like in kindergarten, if you wanted to click on that, there would be a poem from the staff. And so at your leisure, if you would, you may want to touch upon some of those opportunities to hear the staff say goodbye at Eight Corners School. I think that's the last slide.
That's awesome.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. We do have a distance learning update.
Yes. So this is an opportunity. Monique has been instrumental with the Leadership Council to spearhead this work. She has worked incredibly hard this year and has been very reflective and collected data to move us ahead if indeed we need to do more distance learning next year. And she's here tonight to do a little presentation. Thank you, Monique.
Hold on.
Hang on just a minute. I think we need to bring her back in.
I think I did it correctly. Yep. Monique, you just need to unmute.
There we go. Thank you so much. Yes, we've been quite busy this spring. We could never have even imagined how busy. Everyone, it's been a team effort, has worked very, very hard this spring. This little example on this slide is a piece that was done by a kindergartner writing a letter to her teacher next year. Dear future teacher, I cannot wait for first grade. Here are 3 awesome things about me. I run really fast. I make people laugh with funny jokes. And I love cherries. Love, Ruby. This is just one little example of how we've leveraged our online applications to continue the learning during this distance learning past couple of weeks. I'd like the next slide, and I'll take you back a little bit in time into about mid-March when we suddenly, students left school on March 13th, and schools, offices, personnel, about 500 of us all told, shifted to working remotely just about a week. We distributed about 1,300 Chromebooks in probably less than a total of 8 hours to our K-5 students and families. And we immediately began working to organize our staff. School and district leaders worked very hard. I have a memory of our last time we were all together was a Sunday, March 15th, all working on what we were going to do, planning moving forward. We were there all day. That was, I think it was the last time we were all in the same room together. But what we decided to do, K-8, was to deliver the distance learning, the weekly plans. I post those every Friday. We looked at it from the perspective of this is essentially homeschooling. We're going to do the best we can, but it was a homeschooling environment, and we really wanted to work in partnership with parents. We leveraged all our resources to do so and understand that we were all suddenly working in a remote environment at that time. So we leveraged our resources in terms of our instructional coaches and teacher teams coming together to design those weekly learning plans. We leveraged IT. They supported not only our staff, but the entire community as well. We also leveraged our online resources, and I'll talk a little bit about those in the next slide. This became an ongoing problem-solving process for us. Lots of unknowns, evolving situations. We got feedback from students. The principals were awesome about getting feedback from students, parents, and staff. Our goal was really to strive to create equity for all students. These were uncertain times. Every family situation was different, and we tried to provide support as best we can. We were constantly out there talking to community, wondering if people were struggling with food insecurity, to be in touch. We leveraged our bus drivers, helped out by delivering paper packets when we needed to. Office staff coordinated every week in putting together packets of paper and drop-offs and pickups. And so we were also adamant that we were going to put together learning opportunities that were both online and offline activities. And health was the primary objective there. All through it all, our focus was to stay connected as a learning community and to continue the learning for all students. We leveraged our online resources. I can point you out. Next slide will show you just how much was going on through our online resources. We'll start with sort of our Google applications, our Google for Education. In this chart, it's quite detailed, but you can see our Gmail, our emails, March 16th, the first day of remote learning, we received about 17,000 emails. And then you'll note May 18th, shaded in green, the highs, close to 60,000 emails, which is quite a few. If you look at the third line down there, we really had about 2,800 users, active users who have email accounts, students and staff. So that's quite a bit of email coming in and out of our systems. We're looking at leveraging other software, learner management software, such as Seesaw moving forward, that can help diminish some of that email and make the communication a little bit more organized than sifting through those 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 emails. Google Classroom, middle school, all courses went on to Google Classroom as a way to connect with students. And many of the high school's classes are also on Google Classroom. So you can see there the active classes, the posts per day, and the teacher created posts over that period of time. Google Meet is the application we use for our video conferencing and to provide live synchronous instruction. We hit a high the week before the April break with over 2,000 sessions. We had 9,000 participants during that week, and it's pretty much leveled off right through the 1st of June. Chromebooks, this tracks whether or not our Chromebooks are connected and on. And you can see that that too has also been pretty consistent over time. Our next slide, I'll talk a little bit about, we were iReady and Seesaw. We were quite fortunate with both. Seesaw is an application which allows students, particularly elementary students, to post their work. It also provides activities for students to do. It also allows students to archive their work and share their work with their students. It can be video, it can be a piece of writing. The example on the right of the chart there is a piece of writing, and down below is where the teacher can provide comments to the student. It's very elementary student friendly. Down below is another screenshot of how students can capture through photos their work, and then the teacher can provide some feedback to students. K2 decided early on that all teachers would be using Seesaw. We had a pilot this year, so we really were only funding the K2 phase level, but they allowed us to expand to Wentworth to allow additional users under that subscription. And we had about 29 teachers at Wentworth take advantage of that during this distance learning time. So you can see the first week we were out compared to the week before April break, and then May 18th, about a month later. Those average weekly student posts for K2 is pretty amazing. And then our total student posts, I think, is pretty amazing as well. As these are K2 students who we don't often think really engage with technology a whole lot. but our K2 students are engaged and they're using this to share their work and communicate with their teachers. iReady is our diagnostic online assessment for reading and for math. We were able to do a fall assessment and a winter assessment. In our subscription, they extended a pilot for all of our students to be able to use and try the iReady, the online instruction, which helps support students in math and in reading. It's not a curriculum. It is for enrichment and additional support. And the recommendation is about 15 minutes a day, and students can go through certain lessons and they can pass lessons, and the teacher can monitor that behind the scenes. It was very, very helpful for us this year. And as you can see, while the percentage of students who are passing these online lessons has decreased a bit, it's still relatively high. I meet periodically with the representative from iReady, and he was very impressed with the participation rate that we have and the percentage of students who are passing these lessons. So we're looking to extend this into next year as well, as these are resources that have been very valuable to us. And the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about where do we go from here. Oh no, did we miss one? Maybe we didn't miss one. I was going to talk a little bit about the transition. For next year, we have a broad-based group working the START team, the transition task force, as I refer to it. We have broad-based representation. I believe we had over 160 folks volunteer to participate on that. That group will be working on academic planning, social emotional learning, operations, and health. We have distributed surveys to our community, our teachers, and our students in order to get some data that committee will be able to view and work from. We'll also keep that committee posted in terms of the latest guidance and what other districts and countries around the world are doing in transitioning back into school as we know it come this fall. The deadline, if you received a link for a survey, we would greatly appreciate your participation. The deadline will be this Friday, and then I'll start putting together data reports and things from which to share. I'd like to end this with a little project that was done at Pleasant Hill. This was a collaborative effort between Mrs. Chapples, the art teacher, and the music teacher. Each of the K2 schools produced one of these, but it's a wonderful example. I'm not going to talk too much about it and let it speak for itself. If we could run that.
I clicked it and it looks like it's trying to open up in my company email.
Interesting.
And I'm not sure why. No. Yeah, I don't have a link on it, Monique. I'm really sorry.
Okay, well, we'll get that posted. We'll figure out what's going on with that, and we'll get that posted on the website and make sure that link works as we post this series of slides on our website. The other to really play with as well is the one that Sandy mentioned. It's very interactive. The creativity of our teachers has been very impressive. I'm always astounded when they get their heads together and work. Those creative juices get going and they do some amazing things for our students. That's much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, moving into the chair's report. A couple quick things on this. First, I really want to give a huge thank you to our finance committee and our leadership team. You guys have done the budget, I think 400, 500 million times in the last month. You've gone through, you have looked at so many pieces of this, really trying to get us to a place where we feel really confident heading into the tail end of this work. I can't thank you all enough for what you have done. the hard questions that are being asked and how quickly you're going into this. And in support of that, I have a statement. I don't often do this, but I'm going to tonight. And we have heard from some members of our community and have even seen the signs on the road asking for a 0% mill rate increase. I understand we are in the midst of a pandemic, and per the latest information from Augusta, unemployment rates are increasing statewide. The data from SEDCO indicates that fortunately, our local rate is below the average for both Cumberland County and the state. Even without the pandemic as the catalyst, there are often voices that call for little to no increase to the tax rate year over year, and yet our population continues to grow and the costs of town and school, including services, continue to increase. This is not the year to decimate the schools that meet that longstanding goal. We do not know what mandates or regulations will be handed down from the CDC in order to open our doors, but I would be willing to wager that reduced class sizes and increased social distancing will be part of that equation. Cutting our staff is not a viable solution. Our students have been under a stay safer at home order since the middle of March and have lost important social learning and activities with their peers. They will need every opportunity in the fall to regain these life skills outside of the classroom. Balancing a budget by cutting activities, sports, and clubs is not a viable solution. There are many scenarios being considered for the possible reopening of schools in the fall. Most of these scenarios include distance learning in some capacity, and we will need access to online resources, texts, testing, and observation tools for all of our students. Balancing a budget by cutting those subscriptions is not a viable solution. It is the council's responsibility to remind all community members of programs that are available to them, such as the homestead exemption, and it is the responsibility of the community members to take advantage of those programs if they are needed. I specifically mentioned the homestead exemption because it is increasing this year, which could offset increases to the mill rate. Using the mill rate calculator, Councilors Caterina and Clucci created a 2% increase in the mill rate will reflect a tax increase of $66 for the year on a home value at $500,000. That is less than $6 a month. Homes valued at less than $250,000 will have no increase in their taxes. This will ensure our community is protected, services are rendered, and our students are educated appropriately in the coming year. It is the school board's responsibility to inform our council and our community about what is necessary to support our students. And this year, we need all of our current staff, if not more, all of our programming, if not more, and social services for our students in ways that we do not yet understand. Some may see this as the hard way. I see this as the only way to do what's right. And then I have one quick update regarding emails. There's been a lot of feedback recently regarding emails that come to the board. I apologize for the delay on occasion. Things are a little crazy at my office, and I have been getting ready to launch a product, so may not be as quick as I'd like to be on a response. But more importantly, under board policies, and specifically policy BDB, section 2.7, the chair is the public spokesperson for the board unless they specifically delegate the authority to another member. Board members do not respond to emails. Please be assured that we are reading everything. Often the emails there's a collaboration between the board members and the chair before emails are sent out. But please know everybody is reading them. And with that, I am set. Moving into our student reports.
All right, can everyone hear me?
Can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So I just wanted to share some of pictures of Scarborough seniors during their activities for this graduation celebration week. So earlier in the week, students were able to get their photos taken in front of the high school. So that's the picture in the middle. They had a little backdrop set up and students were able to take pictures with their families and friends, and they got some solo shots in there. It was really nice and a great way to kind of celebrate the seniors and take pictures for them to remember these moments. And then on Monday and Tuesday, students received their diploma covers and they got to walk across the stage in front of the high school. So it's that picture on the left, you can kind of see it. But we were able to like walk across the stage and have them announce our name and have our families there to watch us. It was super exciting. And then as you can see on the picture on the right, students were able to take part in the yearly tradition for Scarborough seniors, where they draw their college or post-grad plans with chalk in front of the high school.
It was really fun, and I believe that they're doing some type of drone. I heard that to take pictures of all the drawings, which is really cool. So just a really great way to celebrate seniors and how they're ending this year in a super unconventional way. And then on Saturday, like Sandy said, we have our commencement ceremony at Rock Row in Westbrook. And before that, they're holding a parade for seniors. So if you would like more information on that, I believe it might be on the website. I'm pretty sure under the like senior activities tab. So they're having a parade, I think at like 9:30 or 10 on Saturday morning. And all like spectators and families and teachers are invited. So if anyone would like to come out and celebrate us seniors, you are more than welcome. And then I have another slide at the end, but I will let Max go and I will do that part.
All right, perfect. Okay, so tonight at 6:30 marks the beginning of the Scarborough Porch Fest. K through 12 students were encouraged to go onto their front porches and sing for their neighbors, and to have parents record their performances and upload them to Flipgrid, which is like a little thing that we've been using at school where you can like upload videos of yourself. Also, primary school music teachers also sent out this virtual music room that has lessons that they've sent out to families each week so students can remain engaged in the music curriculum. You can go to the next slide. Cool. Okay, so two of these things were already mentioned, but Pleasant Hill families should definitely take a few minutes to watch this video sent out by Mrs. Chapels for the Hope Project. It features student work and cards showing appreciation for their teachers. There will also be a card parade on June 5th, with the times differing for each primary schools. If families are interested in participating, they should read the information sheet sent out in the year-end information email and pay attention to the safety protocols because those are very important. And furthermore, there was recently a virtual parent information night video sent out by Wentworth Principal Mrs. Crosby. Families should watch the video to ensure a smooth transition from second grade at their primary school into third grade at Wentworth. And you can go to the next slide. Okay. Finally, I just want to say congratulations and thank you to my partner in crime on this board, Kristen. She's been so helpful to me this entire year, and honestly I could not have asked for a better mentor and friend to be my senior rep. I'll definitely take everything you've taught me and use it when working with next year's junior rep. So thanks for being a pal.
Thanks, Max. I love the GIF you included in that.
Oh, thank you. I had to include a drag queen somewhere. It was not an option.
Okay. All right, and then I believe I had one slide put after that, after Max's last one.
And I think it is up.
Okay.
At least it's up on my side. I may be having a delay on my end.
I see it. Okay, so I just wanted to make a quick little speech since this is my last board meeting, which is super sad. I just really want to thank everyone who's helped me during my journey of being a student rep. This position gave me a role to help both my school and community and make my voice heard during the past 2 years. It's undoubtedly helped me grow into the person I am today. And I'm so thankful that I will be able to look back at my high school career and be sure that I was involved in many decisions that determine the fate of the students in my district. While at times 4-hour board meetings on top of a busy school day weren't always fun, I would make the decision to run for this position all over again in a heartbeat. When I was elected as a junior, I was unsure if I would be able to fill the shoes of the representatives who came before me. And at first, being on the board, it was overwhelming because in all honesty, I had no idea what I was doing. But with practice, time, dedication, and support, I learned to fill my role in the best way possible. Between working on hiring a new superintendent, going through the budget process, and being on a board committee, I can confidently say that my board experience has been a hectic yet exciting one. I can't even begin to express how thankful I am that junior year Kristen made the decision to run for this position. So to end that, thank you to Max, my co-student rep. This year's been so much fun and so amazing. It's been so fun to watch you grow and learn this year. And thank you to all the board teachers and school leaders who have supported me during the past 2 years. I'm so thankful for you all.
Thank you, Kristen. You've been amazing, and I wish you all the best.
Thank
Good
you.
luck, Kristen.
Please keep in touch with us.
I will. I promise.
Oh, committee reports, and I zoomed right into communications.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So not a lot of communications update. We did have a meeting last week to continue to discuss the best ways to communicate the budget. Upcoming events, I have not scheduled next week's communication committee meeting, but I do anticipate having one. I wanted to get through the finance committee meeting today to kind of see where we landed before we decided on a communications committee meeting next week. So stay tuned for that. Also for your calendar next week, the school board and town council is hosting another budget roundtable. It's a virtual Zoom. The link is there in the slideshow. It's also available on the town council calendar. It's June 10th at 6 p.m. I would really love to see some more school folks, whether it's to talk about specifically what you would like to see investments made, or to show your support of the school budget would be amazing. Turnout was very low at the last roundtable, and so we're always looking to increase our engagement at these events. And like I said, we always have a plan to communicate the budget. This year it's been a moving target, especially with town council making the decision to move their second reading last night. And so we're doing our best to keep up with all of the changes, and we will use all of the tools that we have available to us once we know more about what we need to communicate to people. So stay tuned, and thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Finance committee.
Yeah, so we obviously made the decision to move the second reading to the 18th. So I think and most of the board members have been involved on all the finance committee meetings. So this is mostly just sort of an FYI for the public in terms of where we are in the process. As we've been saying, sort of after our first reading, the budget is technically the finance committees to work with and figure out, if it's something we can support and then bring forward to the rest of the board for the second reading. So right now, the finance committee is doing that work. We've really dug into it today. There are a couple of outstanding items that we've asked just for some more information on, and for Sandy and the team to come back with us. And there are some unknowns, right? So we don't know what town council is going to do on Tuesday. But we've kind of made the decision as a finance committee, and I think, maybe as a board as well, that, we're just going to put something forward for second reading that we can support, and regardless of what town council does. And if they decide to cut deeper, then we can react to that. But we're not going to obviously support anything lower than what we have now. I think we've all said publicly, and it's worth stating again, because I still think there are some people who maybe misunderstand sort of our position and where we are, that we do not support a 0% budget. So the work that we're doing now, we're doing to meet a goal that was set at first reading, which was a 2% mill rate or less. We have met that goal. The conversation that remains to be had is what we have in our budget that makes up that goal. So what are the line items, what are the programs, the services, et cetera. So we will be publishing next week. We'll probably have to have some more finance committee meetings once we get more information from Sandy, just to sort of finalize our recommendations. But then hopefully we'll be ready to come to the board with a recommendation for our second reading. Any questions? I know it's been a complicated year. Okay.
Hillary?
Sorry, I just wanted to, I unmuted myself. So obviously we have the approval of the professional staff contract on the agenda for later tonight, but I just wanted to give you an update on some of the other things that are going on in negotiations. So impact bargaining was requested by the SEA. We met on May 29th to discuss 4 work days that were in flux due to the changes that we made in the end of the year calendar. That, if you'll recall, we moved around the end date for the students, and that left 4 staff days that were kind of unaccounted for. So we did come to an agreement after a very productive meeting. And once that MOU, that's my newest legal term, I'll let you know, it's a memorandum of understanding. Once that is signed, we'll have communication will go out to staff, and we can let everybody know how that will affect that will affect everybody. Yeah, that was the end of my sentence, I'm sorry. And then there has been a request to begin negotiations with the educational support professionals. That's the commonly referred to as the ed techs. And so we have an initial meeting between our negotiations team and the ed tech team set up for June 18th at 4 p.m.
Thank you very much. Our liaison role?
I know that we all live and breathe this stuff, that most of us, if not all of us, were in attendance at the town council meeting last night. So this is a less of an update for those of us who attended the meeting, more for people who may be tuning into the school board meeting tonight who don't know. So I do have a few town council updates. First, they voted to adopt a resolution last night, and I will read the last few lines of the resolution. The resolution called on staff and administrators of Scarborough and Scarborough Public Schools to come to the table to find budget solutions to balance the needs of all taxpayers, residents, students, and employees. And that motion passed, or that resolution was adopted, rather. They also voted last night for your calendar. They moved second reading of the FY21 budget to Wednesday, June 24th. And then lastly, they also, for your calendar, they have a special workshop scheduled for Tuesday, June 9th at 4 p.m. And it's my understanding that the purpose of that workshop is to discuss the budget. And so since we make up such a large portion of that discussion, undoubtedly the school will be part of that workshop.
Sorry, my phone just completely died. Sarah?
Yeah, can we just, I don't know if this is through April or through me or through you, Liam, but I just want to understand what the format of that meeting is going to be and what the expectations of us will be in terms of what we want to present at the workshop, if anything.
My opinion with that would be that, I was going to say, my opinion would be that that should go through the chair. It's my understanding that it's a full town council workshop. It's not a finance committee workshop. It's a full town council workshop. And so that probably goes to you, Leanne.
Okay. Great. I can find out the details on that, Sarah.
That'd be great, because yeah, we don't have a ton of time to prepare, so that'd be great. Thank you.
You got it. All right. Moving into new business, 11.1 is the 2020-2023 professional staff contract.
I just want to clarify that it's actually the 2019 to 2022 professional contract.
Sorry.
That's just it was just a.
I had that thought too.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
I'd like to offer a motion to ratify the 2019 through 2022 collective bargaining agreement between the Scarborough Education Association and the Scarborough Board of Education for the professional staff contract.
So moved.
Second. So I just have a statement to make as the chair of negotiations. Nearly a month ago, the board voted to table the ratification of the teacher's contract, but to authorize the payment of the retroactive salary increases for the 2019-2020 school year. I think that in effect, this relayed the board's overall approval of year 1 of the contract while delaying a vote on years 2 and 3 of the contract due to uncertainties regarding the budget and the effects of the pandemic. Since that time, we have made reductions to our budget, and the town has made reductions to the municipal budget, which together result in a mill rate increase of, I believe, 1.2% as of last night. This is well under the town council request of 2%, which they made at their first reading. In addition, we have received word that our revenue sharing amounts will not be as drastically impacted as we originally thought. I don't claim that we have all of the information we need as we move forward with the budget conversations, but I do think that we now have enough information to feel secure in ratifying the teacher's contract. There was a resolution made at town council meeting last night, and I don't know what the effect of that will be. I don't know what the future will bring as we navigate these uncertain times, and I don't know what the final budget numbers will be, but I do know that our teachers are an amazing source of learning, support, and refuge for our students every single day. Therefore, as chair of negotiations, I am recommending that we vote yes to ratify the contract tonight.
Thank you, Hillary. I'm going to go a little bit out of order. April, if you wanted to speak.
I just wanted to remind the board and the community that due to the fact that my father-in-law is a teacher at the high school, I will be abstaining from the conversation and from the vote.
Thank you. Kristen?
I agree with Hillary. I think what we now know, I feel confident supporting the ratification of the contract. Doing so will give closure to what has been a very lengthy process that has left many frustrated along the way. We approved the tentative agreement because we believed it was fair and showed that we value the teachers in Scarborough. And despite all that's changed in our world, that has not changed. Quite the opposite, actually. The world of COVID-19 has only highlighted the important role that teachers play in our community and in the lives of our students and their families. I think it's important we acknowledge that and start to look to the future, as there are many challenges that lie ahead. I know this delay has been frustrating to many different people for many different reasons, and for that, I'm sorry. I'm appreciative of the time I've had to make a decision with the most information I could access. Thank you.
Thank you. Nick?
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, I've been having technological issues, so I wanted to be sure. So first I want to thank Amy Glidden. Hillary is the chair right now. She's done a fabulous job, but I wanted to take a moment to thank Amy for all of her hard work and leading us, Hillary and I both, on the negotiations team. It was a very hard and challenging process for everyone involved getting to this point. The tentative contract that's before us represents a lot of research, a lot of debate, gains, and concessions. I believe what's before us represents a significant amount of evolution for this document and includes many gains for our district's teachers throughout many of its articles. So much so that it's actually challenging to believe that the expired contract is related to the one that's on the table tonight. There's just so much growth and change in the document. Months back, the board publicly agreed with the majority report from the fact-finding panel, including the salary scale, and I agree with the panel's rationale for those increases at the time they were made. However, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that the panelists' recommendations and our endorsement of them all occurred when COVID-19 was just an overseas rumor. Things have changed, and I applaud our finance team for all of their hard work in trying to respond to the ever-changing scenarios that are coming across in our community. To be clear, I still support ratifying this contract, but I also support a spirit of community and sharing the responsibility of our current reality. So if this passes tonight, I would like to ask all of our employees, represented or not, to consider and give some serious thought to offering a modified COLA for FY21, just as many companies and organizations have already done across Maine, the country, and around the world. To be clear, I'm not advocating for a pay cut, but a slightly smaller raise could go a long way towards saving some valuable programs and impactful staff members that are invaluable to our students, particularly given the realities of COVID-19. And as a board member, our students are my top priority. So in closing, I firmly believe that our community can get through this together while minimizing the damage to our treasured town. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. I would like to thank both teams. I know how many hours the board's negotiation team put into this effort, the SEA as well. This was a long process. I am grateful that we are at a point of being able to bring this forward. So thank everybody for the work that they did to get us here tonight. I believe we're ready for the vote. Diane, if you could do a roll call vote.
Alicia has her hand up, Leanne.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't see her hand.
I did it at
on the screen.
I thought you were just sort of going around. I didn't realize people had their hands up. Sorry. Such an awkward format.
No, I'm so sorry, Alicia.
I didn't prepare any statements, but Mr. Humpage offered public comment earlier today. His thoughts really represent where I was coming from when I supported tabling the ratification of the contract, and that was that I thought we needed more time to gather information because I was concerned about the potential impact to teacher loss positions. And so it was never because I didn't support the ratification. And I appreciate the patience that individuals have shown. And I also apologize for the stress that I know that it has caused to many of the district's employees. But I feel much more confident now with the information that I have. And there's nothing more that I would rather do than support the ratification today and give the teachers what I think that they desperately need after showing particularly diligent work in these difficult times and continued professionalism. And I'd like to thank them all for that.
Thank you. Sarah?
Thanks. I also thought you were just going around, so apologies for that. I don't have much to add, and like Alicia, I don't have a prepared statement. I did just want to reiterate the fact that our intentions for initially tabling this was to save teacher jobs and not to, it was never our intention to sort of create this discord or stress or anxiety, especially during a time that's already so difficult. So for what, you know, the tabling has caused, I apologize for our part in that. And, you know, I'm very satisfied and happy with this contract, and I think it's well deserved. And I look forward to bringing this to a vote. I will just say that this budget process is not over. There will be more challenges, and you know there may be further discussions, but we hope that those discussions do not include any more cuts to our teachers or our staff.
Thank you. And with that, I believe we are ready for a vote.
All right. Ms. Dorgan?
Yes.
Mrs. Giftos?
Yes.
Dr. Gill?
Yes.
Ms. Cazelonis?
Yes.
Ms. Layton?
Yes.
Mrs. Seither?
Abstain.
Mrs. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Caldwell?
Yes.
And Mr. Bennett?
Yes, thank you, teachers.
And the motion passes. Thank you, everyone. 11.2, a motion to accept the meeting minutes of April 16th, 2020 as presented to us.
Moved.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. I'm going to assume no conversation, so I'd like to go straight to vote on this.
Ms. Durgan?
Yes.
Mrs. Giftos?
Yes.
Dr. Gill?
Yes.
Ms. Cazelonis?
Yes.
Miss Layton,
Yes.
Mrs. Seither,
Yes.
Mrs. Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Caldwell,
Yes.
and Mr. Bennett.
Yes. Okay. 11.3 is a motion to allow the superintendent authorization of summer hires.
Moved.
So moved. Second.
And a discussion.
What does that mean?
What that means is, should we be in a position of hiring additional staff members, that we are allowing Sandy to make that final call prior to bringing it to the board. So if we had a situation, let's just say that we pass on the first budget reading and we only have one meeting in August, that he doesn't lose the opportunity to sign a great teacher to the district while waiting to have our final approval on their hire.
We do that each year, right, Leanne? Isn't
We
it?
do.
Yeah.
So I voted for this last year, you mean?
You did.
Okay.
Any additional comments, or are we ready to vote? Right, seeing none. Diane?
Ms. Durgan,
Yes.
Mrs. Giftos,
Yes.
Dr. Gill,
Yes.
Ms. Castellanos,
Yes.
Ms. Layton,
Yes.
Mrs. Seither,
Yes.
Mrs. Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Caldwell,
Yes.
and Mr. Bennett.
Yes. All right, thank you. And I am really excited about the next motion. And it's a motion to accept a donation from Project Grace.
So moved.
Second.
And again, I apologize, I'm having a delay, so I'm hoping that you can hear me. I'd like to read what we received from Steffi Cox. Dear Superintendent Prince and members of the Scarborough Board of Education, it's difficult to overstate the importance of giving children healthy meals and snacks, and especially so for kids whose families struggle to stretch tight budgets for groceries and other essentials. When kids come to school hungry, it's harder for them to fully participate in school activities, and their future is threatened in profound ways. The recent news from the school highlighted the many, including Project Grace, who have stepped up during the disruption to lend a helping hand or make a financial gift. Schools are closed, but our hearts are open, and our kids are getting nutritious meals and groceries for the family thanks to the tireless work of Peter Esposito, the nutrition staff, and bus drivers who made the pivot to make Backpacks program work when schools were closed. For many years, Project Grace has partnered with Scarborough School Nutrition to get more groceries and more healthy meals to at-risk kids. I am pleased to present a grant in the amount of $2,934.25 to the Scarborough School Nutrition Program to cover the snacks and milks, school lunches, and second helpings for students whose families were not eligible for the free and reduced subsidy, but still could not afford to pay nutrition fees this academic year before the schools were closed. This annual grant is made possible by charitable gifts made to Project Grace and complements other investments in the school backpacks program, as well as grocery gift cards and supports provided to families through the social workers and guidance counselors, school nurses, and administrators. We are particularly grateful for the compassionate and respectful way in which the school nutrition program and school staff address hunger amongst our students. No child goes hungry. No child or parent is shamed. It's our pleasure and privilege to work with such dedicated and caring people who make it so easy to extend the reach of our neighbors, helping neighbors services into the community. In the coming days, we'll be making a public announcement, but we wanted you to have an early heads up. In lieu of making our usual presentation at the school board meeting, we'd like to ask Kate Bolton to keep an eye on the mailbox for our check. With many thanks to you all, Steffi Cox, Executive Director of Project Grace. Ms. Cox, thank you so very much. Your generosity knows no bounds. The community that supports Project Grace, again, thank you for what you do. It's amazing. Thank you. I'm out of words of gratitude for the kindness that you're showing. Kate? Oh, I think we need to promote her. right, Kate, I think you're in.
Hi, Leanne. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. I just wanted to let Steffi know, which I did by email, to let the rest of you know that we did receive the check. And we're sending her great big virtual hugs for her and her team and all that they do for us.
Thank you, Kate. All right. And with that, the vote to accept this incredibly generous donation from Project Grace.
Ms. Durgan,
Yes, and thank you.
Mrs. Giftos,
Yes, thank you.
Dr. Gill,
Yes, and thank you.
Ms. Casalonis,
Yes, and thank you.
Ms. Layton,
Yes, thank you.
Mrs. Seither,
Yes, and thank you.
Mrs. Turner,
Yes, and thank you.
Ms. Caldwell,
Yes, and thank you.
and Mr. Bennett.
Yes, and merci beaucoup.
Thank you. All right. Last motion tonight is a motion to adjourn.
So
Leanne,
moved.
Oh.
Oh.
Wait, no, there is not. I believe Diane, second time tonight, I have just like,
that's okay.
yes, you have something to show us.
I do. I'm able to pull up that Hope Project video that you wanted to share earlier. So if you,
I think I need to stop share.
then I can see if I can share mine. Let's see.
It says warning, bring tissues. I don't know if I can handle this.
I know.
I hope to go to the beach. What friends you hope to see soon? Reese, Paul, and Jamie. Those are the friends I want to see soon. I miss you all. Bye. This is my art, and I'm looking forward to go to the beach in the summertime. this is about the pool. I hope I can go to the pool with my friend Kate. And it's a sculpture of my grandparents' pool and house, and I hope I can go there this summer because it is very fun and I want to swim in their pool. I hope to see Nadia again, and I hope to see I hope to see two people, Sophia and Nadia. I hope and all of you because it's just so hard to choose because you're all my friends. But when my friends are close by, they're sort of like family. My hope is to get back to school.
That was amazing. Hey. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
This is the board of crying now.
Wow.
Did every school do
Oh.
that?
I don't know, but that was a good way to end.
That
It really
so
was.
sweet. So sweet.
That was how you guys want to send me off my last meeting.
Oh.
That's appropriate. Yes.
I don't think there's ever been so many kids who are dying to go to school right now.
No.
Oh, please.
That was beautiful.
I don't know what was better, that or Leanne trying to talk.
Don't let anyone kid you. I am a softie at heart. All right. Let's try this again. Motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
And by show of hands on the screen. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, Kristen.
Bye, Kristen.
Thanks for being on the
Kristen, good
board.
luck.
Bye, Kristen.
Make
Thank
sure to keep us
you.
updated.
Thank you guys.
Oh, God.